Hey guys, this vid's gonna be on the knives that I need to send in for warranty. It's not all of them that you see here, it's just gonna be these knives right here. I think I misspoke in my other video. Actually had said 3 mini griptilians. I meant to say 3 griptilians. 2 are mini, 1 is a full size. I hope no one takes this the wrong way. I love the griptilian. I actually like the mini griptilians better than the full size. They feel better to me. They feel better quality. I know I'm not the first person to say that. They just feel a little more solid. These ones have never had any blade play. Even with this one, even with it being able to just drop free like that, you know, swinging freely, it still has no blade play. My full size, I may have said in other vids in the past, I've had a little more trouble with. I had to do like a forced break-in on the knife. I had bought it and it had a ton of blade play, even tightened all the way up. And you may be able to see here, maybe not with the bad focus, but you can see light through the washers, and quite a bit. It's almost as if they're kind of angled like this, offset with the knife, or one of the liners must not be lined up perfectly with the other. So I did like a forced break-in over, took me a couple months. I tightened this thing up until I could barely open the thing. Broke it in to where, you know, it opened and then cranked it down again. Centering's good on it and everything. You know, there's a lot of things with Benchmade that they really impress me on. One of them is centering. You know, even on these mini grips, they have pretty tight tolerances. I believe on this knife, I've seen a video where somebody took a folded piece of paper and they could slide the paper in on a Chris Reeve knife. They could slide it in single, but when they folded it wouldn't slide in. This knife actually is that tight, and I mean, I have others I may talk about in another video that have similar tolerances with the blade. And Benchmade really does good with that. I also have a mini Deja Vu that also has really good fit and finish, good tolerances. But the big fail on these knives to me is the Omega springs that they use. And I don't think it's the design of the spring. I think it's just the material used. I don't know if they could use a stronger type of metal that would still have the same type of spring function. But I've had this knife here, actually has no Omega springs in it right now at all. This one's being sent in. This is my wife's. So she has her Endura, so I was going to send hers in. And also I bought this one at a different store. This one was actually from a knife store. So we figured we'd send in hers. So I took the good spring out of hers, or both, because both springs were broken in this knife. Both Omega springs broke together. So I took both out of this to put in here, figuring I'll send this one in. In the meantime, one broke on this knife, and you can see that the spring isn't sitting in the right spot on that side. And let's see if I can shake it down a little bit. No, maybe not. Okay, I guess I took the one out of that. So you can see there's no spring on that side at all. That's because one broke. This knife, more so than the mini grips, will function with only one spring. It definitely takes some of the tension off of the lock bar, which is worrisome. But I figured, you know, I'll keep using that with just one spring. And now one of the 2 that I put in this knife is broken. So this one is the one I believe that you can see. Let's see. There, you can see that the spring is just kind of floating in there. Let's see if I can get it to move down even more. There, you can see it's like move position, and now it's hanging way down there. It's completely broken off down in there. So this one is functioning with one, but every now and again that will get caught, and the spring, the lock bar, will not go back onto the blade. it will just stay back. So I have basically one with no access lock at all because the Omega springs are taken out of it because they were broken. And then I have two each with one Omega spring. So these are all going back to Benchmade. I want, the springs replaced. I wish they would be willing to just send those springs. I'm sure that they're not. They're one of the manufacturers that they don't want you to take apart their knives. Obviously, there are knives. I feel like if you're just assembling, cleaning, putting it back together, it shouldn't be a problem for us to take apart our own knives. I don't see how that should void a warranty. A good knife should be able to be taken apart. This was just taken apart the other day, cleaned. It doesn't void that warranty. A lot more expensive knife, but it's the idea. It's our knives. We have them, as tools. We know what to do with them. You have to clean them every now and again, lubricate. So I feel like we should be able to do that. I also have a Spyderco that needs to go back. This was, and I've said in videos past, one of my favorite knives, but if you can see, I can close it just by pushing on the back of the blade. The lock has failed on this. If you can see here, it's all the way over. The ball D10 is touching there, which wasn't a problem at first, but now it's not locking. So it's acting basically like a slip joint. Despite being my favorite knife, it's given me trouble in the past. It had this long break-in period. The lock was so sticky. It's never had blade play. Always good centering and things, but that lock bar being just the, not heat treated, not carbonized, and having just that kind of lower bevel on that angle on the lock bar and on the tang of the blade, it just wore in really, really quick. And I think you can see there how much it wore into the lock bar from the tang of the blade. It's really, really deep how that's worn in there. So it's actually, the tang is actually recessed into the lock bar, and so it won't stay locked. Every now and again it will catch, but only because there gets like grit in there. Once it's cleaned, it will not lock. So obviously that's a problem. That one's going to go back. I'm planning on sending all of these in tomorrow, same day being sent out. Obviously there's 3 knives being sent here and only 1 here. I feel like it should still be the same turnaround. It's still, obviously they have more than one person working on these knives, so I feel like if you sent 10 knives in, maybe it'd be different, but we're talking about just 3 knives, a simple fix, a much simpler fix on these than on this. I don't know if you guys have any comments as far as that, but I'm not sure what they're going to do with this. What could they really do besides replace the titanium lock side? I'm not sure what else they could do. The tang has not worn, obviously, because this titanium is much, much softer than S30V. So the blade, this side, everything are good. So I can't see them replacing the whole knife. I think if they just replace that one locking side, then I would have a good working knife. But I wish they would carbonize those locks on these because that titanium's so soft. My Strider has been used, more than this really has. I used this knife a lot when I got it, until I got my Strider SMF about a year ago. This has worked in, to pretty far lockup. It still has a ways to go before it ever touched the other side, and because of that ramp type of tang, it probably will never even get there. But to look at this lock bar, it really has little wear. It's just that small surface area. So this must be either heat treated. It's pretty rough. You can hear there, but I don't know if they carbonize these. I feel like it's such a simple step that any manufacturer that's using a titanium frame lock should be taking that step. It seems like it would solve so many problems, but maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's more expensive of a step than I think. I know Tough Thumbs Jeff, if you send him a knife, he has the ability to do that, and seeing people do that in videos even, it doesn't seem like such a difficult or expensive thing to do, but I could be wrong there. You know, I don't know if you guys know any good places to send a knife to have that done. And also, does that void a warranty on something like a Strider? I'm sure it does, because you can't modify the knife, so you're kind of stuck with just the titanium frame lock wearing, and it's kind of making me almost want to lean back towards a good liner lock, you know. And that kind of brings me into the last thing I was going to bring up here. A lot of people say my favorite knife is this. You know, my favorite knife is the Griptilian. My favorite knife is the Sage series, or, you know, Strider SMF. I'm kind of curious with people if your favorite knife is different than your best knife. Because for me, my favorite knife is by far my SMF. It's my most expensive. It's beautiful. I feel like the fit and finish on it is impeccable. It is perfectly flush everywhere. You know, it's just beautifully finished. You know, mine has a few scratches on it now, but just really good fit and finish on my knife. On this example here, really smooth. And actually, now that I got the grease out of it, it's back to being smoother again. Still a little bit of noise, but not nearly what it was, and that will go away once the rest of the grease is out. But I'm just kind of curious, because for me to say my best knife, it's probably been this. It was one of the first good knives I bought. I had a couple crappy like Smith & Wesson knives, and then bought a Tenacious. The next logical step after that was the Sage, and to be honest, it's the only knife that's never failed me. You know, the lock, while kind of late for a liner lock, is actually in a pretty good spot. It's stainless steel liner lock. My Mini Deja Vu is titanium liner lock. That has worn over almost to the other side. So that will probably be going in at some point once it develops some up and down play, which is pretty much inevitable. This knife, I don't ever see doing that. It has no blade play. It cuts like a laser. It sharpens well. Super, super smooth. Really solid lockup. Great fit and finish. I mean, this knife, you know, one of the first things that caught my attention with this knife is just how perfect that little ramp is there. So this would be considered by me to be my best knife. You know, it's a great knife. It's probably my best knife for an EDC for sure. It's not my favorite knife though. I love it, but I have knives that I love more. So it's not my best knife. So I'm just kind of curious to hear from you guys what, you know, if there's a difference with you between your favorite knife and your best knife. So if any of you guys want to kind of let me know or throw a vid up, you know, it'd be awesome to kind of hear what some of you guys have to say about that. I'll get these knives sent in tomorrow. I'll give you an update whenever the first one comes in. I'll do a video just showing what kind of service I got, what was done, you know, let you know if I'm satisfied with what they did, and let you know what the time frame is for them coming back. So I'll cut this short. Don't want to go on too long, just rambling. So I'll have a new vid up here pretty soon. Hopefully I'll be able to do them a little more regularly. You know, not too much. You know, I don't want to go crazy, but you know, hopefully I'll have a couple new knives coming in. It's been about a year since I bought a new knife. The last one I bought was this, and I have the itch bad. I'm just looking at a couple different ones. The ZT-0560 obviously looks awesome. You know, there's a pretty huge bandwagon for that. I'm not sure that I'd fit, so I think that I'm going to go with something like the Boker Pipsqueak. It seems like the whole hype with that has kind of started to die down. I found a couple places with them in stock, and I just, right from the get-go, the first review I saw, I really liked that knife a lot. So anyways, I'll talk to you guys soon. You have a great day. Bye.